Okay, I think we're rolling. So today we've got a video by gmanspeakstv. It's going to be another one of those React type discussion videos where we follow along and I give my feedback, thoughts, and opinions using lived experience when it comes to what's on screen. So gmanspeakstv is a channel I've been following for a couple of months now. It's a relatively new YouTube channel. I believe he may actually be Melbourne region based, around that sort of area. Now myself, having just seen this video uploaded about 2 hours ago, and it's still the morning of the 5th of October. And having grown up in Melbourne, went to primary school and high school in Melbourne, having lived in Melbourne for most of my 20s and worked as a security guard, a bouncer, a supervisor at clubs, pubs, and bars around Melbourne and Melbourne City, surrounding suburbs. It'd be pretty interesting for me to react to this video of what the dating scene is now like, a scene that I've been out of for the last couple of years. So without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, before we do, G-Man, all due respect, I do understand that you are a monetized YouTube channel. So if you have any qualms, any issues with me using your content, reacting to it, just leave a comment or shoot me a message and I'll happily delete it, because I do understand that this may be a side hustle or even full-time job. So without further ado, let's get into it. And on that note, actually, if you would be willing or interested in doing something like a collaboration, especially if you are, like I said, from the Melbourne region, it'd be pretty cool to do one of these types of videos with you, because I do believe that we share quite a very similar stance and view on these kinds of topics. And whilst I've heard it all, we'll see if we hear something new today. All right, let's roll.
G'day guys, welcome to G-Man Speaks. Today we're going to take a look at women complaining about the dating landscape in Melbourne. So guys, you dirty boys from Melbourne, buckle up, grab a drink, let's have a laugh, because I know it's you that they're talking about.
Yeah, let's kick out.
Or a man who was... Where are the men aged between 30 and 40?
Where?
This is where I want to
Married.
know. I either talked to a guy who was 18, or a man who was 60. And I'm like, that's great for you guys, but where's my age group at?
Probably where they've been at for the last 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. Out, bars, clubs, pubs. They're definitely on dating apps. That's a given. That's a fact. But before I start venturing into topics like that, dating apps, and where potentially men can be found in that age category that she's speaking about, in their 20s and 30s, my thoughts are that yes, they're either in long-term relationships, maybe they are married, maybe they have children and everything's tracking smoothly. Maybe they just got out of long-term relationships, because no matter how good things may be at the start, sometimes things just don't eventuate, they don't progress. Or they've just got their heads down and they're pursuing excellence in whatever it is that they desire. Maybe they're just leveling up in their own right. So whether that's through sport, studies, or simply following some sort of passion. So where do you find those types of men that are single and have their heads down? It is a good question. I believe they can be floating on dating apps, but you also have to put your best foot forward if you're a female and you're going on dating apps, and that's the kind of man you want to find. The problem with dating apps, though, for women is the plethora of options. So I truly believe, and I've done this in the past, this might sound like a tangent, but bear with me. I've had a girlfriend, this is about 7 years ago. Now, she wasn't the most attractive girl, okay? She was about 23 years old at the time. But we were together and I asked if I could borrow her phone, and I used her phone and I told her what was going to happen. I was going to make a Tinder profile using her phone. Now, this is at a time before Tinder had unlimited swipes and there was no premiums, golds, what have you not now. And I made a profile just using photos that she already had, about 3 of them. I didn't go to the extent of verifying it or whatnot. And within a matter of 5 minutes with this Tinder profile, she had 6 matches and all 6 engaged in a conversation. Now, eventually I took this experiment a little further and I sexually charged some of those conversations. And 10 out of 10, so all 6, I should say, were down. They were DTF. And like I said, these weren't necessarily the most flattering images. Yeah, of course. You should put your best foot forward. You should have your best images on dating profiles. But by no means was the girl in question, not that I'm throwing shade at her, a 10 out of 10, okay? This is just me implying facts. So the plethora of options, what I'm getting at is if I had conducted this experiment for any longer than the hour, and I only did about an hour total, we were about 23 conversations. It was around 20 to 25 we had in an hour of me doing this. And some were normal conversations, others were sexually charged, others were just the guys initiating, hey, come on over, where you from? For men, now you could be a spectacular looking guy, whether it was back then or right now. I would be hard pressed to believe that you could match with 6 women in a day, let alone an hour. And it'd be a pretty fair effort unless you went above and beyond, so to speak, by paying whatever it is, $60, $50 a month for those premium tiers. Or is it even like a week? I'm not entirely sure. But getting 6 matches as a guy and getting messaged first, I'd find that pretty damn hard to believe. And for anything to eventuate, you'd have to be in the, I would say, 1% of looks. So women have the edge. And this isn't just me pulling some sort of facts out of my ass. There are videos of YouTube where other people have actually conducted these sort of experiments and used images of good-looking men and shown just how difficult it is for men to attract any women on these sort of platforms. And again, it comes back to the very first thing I was saying, that it also heavily depends on what kind of vibe women put out, because some women are strictly there to get railed. Pardon the crudity of what I'm saying, but if that's what a woman is after, that's what she's going to attract. So if she's looking for a good man, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, if she's happy in the end to settle for getting plowed, then that is what's eventually going to eventuate for her. Undoubtedly, she could be a 3 out of 10 is going to eventuate, but that's what she's going to attract. And then these women will come out of the woodwork and be, well, where are all the good men at? It's about you being a good woman. And before all you say that dating apps are just hookup culture, not necessarily. But it has to be a two-way street, okay? You have to know your intentions and you have to make them known as well. So there is hope of finding decent people, decent men and decent women alike on dating apps. It is becoming increasingly rare. But also, like I said, the market for women is so oversaturated. There's so many options that with those set options, women become extremely picky. And with that, they start sounding a lot like this. Where are all the men at? Well, they're there. It's just that you've become blinded. It's like when you become tone deaf or you're unable to smell how much perfume you put on yourself because you're nose blind. So you become blind to the dating market because you're so overly saturated with options that you don't even see what's right in front of you.
They're most of them, the good ones, not the dirty Steve-O's and Bryce's, but the good ones, they're off the market. They're trying hard to make a marriage work, and hopefully they've married a good girl. But as we all know, guys, a lot of guys do come back onto the market in their 30s and 40s because the good girl that they thought they got was not so much that. But this,
just with that, I'm more of a believer in a two-way street. So when a relationship doesn't work out, especially a long-term one, it's generally a two-way street. I'm not going to get into percentages of who's 60, who's 70, who's 30, as in who's 70% right or who's 70% to blame for the relationship falling apart. So we're not going to get into that sort of breakdown, but by me saying two-way street, I think that it's generally both parties have a hand in a relationship not working out. So you can't solely blame the woman, and the woman shouldn't solely blame a man. It's generally a mix of both, okay? Somewhere along the line, both people went wrong. Again, I'm not going to get into mathematical equations of who may have done wrong by someone else more, but it's important to acknowledge where you may not have done right by someone as well.
These girls can't understand. The way it really works is you shouldn't be dating in your 30s. Dating's for late teens, maybe early 20s. That's the way that I see things. Okay, cool. Dating, we can call dating. Dating's getting slammed in the back of V and Calais, boys. But relationships, courting, all this sort of stuff that they want, you're not going to...
Yeah, relationships, partnerships. It's a good point. What is dating? It's a bit of a thought-provoking question. What exactly, how are we defining dating? Meeting up, eating out together, going to places together, and not doing it with someone else, just strictly doing it with the one person? Is that considered dating? At which point does it go from dating to we're in a relationship? Like, what's the turning point to separate the two definitions?
Get it in your 30s. It doesn't really happen. Yeah, there's a few simps out there that'll do it. Guys who don't know any better. Guys who don't watch G-Man. But the majority of guys, 30 and above, they know what the score is. They're avoiding chicks just like this.
Are they all at the football?
I think so.
Is that where they all are?
I was going to say, going to the football, I think, is the new, dating pool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going, I think, in 2 weeks.
No freaking way.
I know, I can't believe I haven't been in over 10 years.
I think, so guys, you think, especially guys in your 30s and 40s, you think that you're hunting women, you think you're out there, you're the ones that are controlling the narrative? No, it's them. They're the open.
Yeah. They're doing it just as much. They're doing it just as much, if not more. But it comes back to what I was saying earlier about the plethora of options that they have is basically like overstimulation, oversaturation. You become literally blinded by the amount of prospects you have that you begin not to see any when it's right in front of you. You begin potentially rejecting, turning down good men that are willing to court you, are willing to pursue something serious.
Talking about finding spots. You hear about, where do I find men? They go, they start infiltrating running clubs, going to Bunnings to hunt down tradies.
Really?
Now it's going to be the footy. Gym.
Going to Bunnings to hunt down tradies. I suppose I haven't been to Bunnings too often, but I can't imagine anyone other than the single mums resorting to Bunnings.
All that sort of stuff.
So I'll let you know what the age group is.
Okay, cool. Because I've been to the football twice, I think, in my life.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Maybe 3 times.
And you're probably 9.
And I was, and the last time I went, I didn't even, I was like, to whoever I went with, I said, why are they kicking the other way? They're kicking it to the wrong goalpost. And she's like, no, it changes every quarter.
How about you just stay away from the footy? Leave the guys who are into their football.
Leave the guys who are into their football. Generally, if men are at the footy, they're more than likely there with mates, a group of mates. They're not there to potentially find a partner. I'm not going to get into just how much love they have for the game, but it's a social outing and it's generally for the boys. So again, you may potentially want to establish some sort of communication with them if you're in a group as a female group and you approach perhaps a male group, but you're not going to do that if, say, the guy, maybe there's a guy you're eyeing off and he's in a group of 4, so he's with 3 other guys and you're just with your one friend if you're there by yourself, that's even more awkward that you're potentially going to do anything. But generally, leave guys in those sort of places where they have an outing, where it's not the time and place. Leave them to their devices.
Footy, enjoy it, and have a good boys' day out. Not trying to come and hunt them down.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. So I'm already.
You're already like a few beats
I'm
behind.
a few beats behind.
Bloody women make the worst podcast. There's nothing interesting about it. If I had someone else to actually talk to a podcast, guys, I reckon I could make you guys actually laugh pretty hard.
I reckon
Someone
we
could
could
interview
too,
me.
G-Man.
These are the most boring conversations.
Oh, man, do I have a funny story about my mate and the VN Calais. But maybe we would save that for the podcast.
But it does go to show you, like, the way they look at the whole thing. You're a target.
But maybe that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to be like wandering around the MCC, like,
Oh, where do I go? Where's
which
my
team
seat?
should I go for?
Where's the bar?
Hello, I'm so thirsty. You know, sprinkle, sprinkle.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why women think that being ditzy is an attractive quality or facet that men are going to be drawn to. You literally come across ditzy. Now, of course, if the man's had a few to drink and if the only thing he really is after is bending you over in the local stall, the local bathroom, well, then maybe ditzy does come across like something he's after, something he'd be interested in. But otherwise, it's not particularly an attractive quality. You know, coming up to a guy and being like, "Where's the bar?" when it's quite literally 2 meters behind you.
Thirsty.
Yeah.
I could do with a drink. Where are the men?
Good luck with that. Yeah, there will be some losers who'll buy you drinks, though.
Oh, the buying drinks thing. I've never done it, but I've seen plenty of it working as a security guard. Women will use men for that sort of thing, but while it can be a good social cue to get an interaction started, buying a girl a drink, it's not something that I would recommend doing, going out of your way. It's not going to impress her. If a girl is interested in you, she's going to be interested in you. If she's not interested in you, buying her a drink isn't going to make her more interested in you. So it becomes a pointless action.
Do you know what I've realised recently? It's so hard to date in Melbourne, but it's also so hard to date in general, especially in this generation and this hookup culture, because I
This generation, she's got to be 18 or something.
was at the club the other night
She's a
with a
Zoomer.
few of my friends. I was promoting an event, so we ended up going to a club afterwards just on Chapel Street, and I saw a really, really cute guy there, and I like started smiling at him. He obviously didn't have a girlfriend, which we realized later in the story, but I started smiling at him. His friends were like hitting him and like winking at him and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, like maybe he thinks that like I should go over, like I should go see him. By the way, I'm completely fine with like going up to guys because I've been rejected before and I probably will be rejected more in the future, but that's fine. You just move on to the next person.
Do ya? Is that why you're making a TikTok for some guy not approaching you at a bar, no matter you're trying to put all this effort in, guys? We're not smart with that stuff. You could be looking at it, you could be having your tits out and would be like, I'm not sure if she actually likes me or not. We don't
I disagree slightly, G-Man. It's not a skill you need to attend university for. To learn to read body language and social cues, I think it's pretty fundamental. Not even necessarily delving into the pickup game, but just as character development, developing yourself. And if you're a young man, even later in life, through anything, through employment, through connections, through networking, reading social cues is a really useful skill to have. So being able to read a room, being able to read another person's body language, are they open to you? Are they receptive? Are they outright disgusted by you, flat out not interested? It pays to know this. Don't be that kind of guy that's closed off to, oh, well, I don't know fuck all about anything. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just going to look back at this girl and not understand a damn thing that's going on. The eye contact we're making, I think nothing of it. The fact that she bit her bottom lip, that she's twirling her hair, That means something. You should know it means something. So I don't particularly agree with you there, G-Man, that, oh, well, guys are, too oblivious to these facts. Social cues are important. That's all I got to say.
Take these hints. Women have the worst game ever. Oh, yeah, just flick your hair or give them a certain look or give them a little bit of a smile or something like that,
But that's just how women do it. That's just what it is. I'm not saying all women. I don't want to generalize and group all the eggs in the one basket, but generally, there's just social cues. And women will do those, and you have to be able to read them. You just have to essentially assert the first and foremost of, is she interested? Now, if there's eye contact, and like I said, potentially twirling hair, flicking hair, biting the bottom lip, glancing at you, you catch her glancing at you more than once, so like twice, 3 times you see her just like, and then she quickly turns away. She's interested, okay? She's not necessarily into you, like thinking, God damn, take me into that ladies' bathroom, into the cubicle. But she's thinking, maybe it'd be pretty cool if this guy approached me. It'd be nice, okay? Not everything has to lead to some kind of a pornographic fantasy. But this is how conversations should initiate. So if you see someone, and if you're the guy, and you're looking back and you're catching these social cues, if you're interested, if you find the girl attractive, go up to her, dude. Why else are you even there then? Are you telling me you really enjoy the music that much? Okay, maybe you are there with your friends, but we know in general of why you say at this club, at this bar. Just go up to her then. Unless you are not interested, but then why do you keep catching her out staring at you?
We don't think about it like that. Like, those things don't work. They're the worst game ever.
Person, not everyone's for you. So I'm like talking to my friends. I'm like, oh my god, I should go talk to him. Like, he's so cute. Mind you, he hasn't even smiled at me yet. He's kind of just standing there, like, with no kind of, I don't know, kind of blank face on. So I was like, oh, I'm not too sure. And then he goes like, go talk to him, go talk to him. So I'm like, do you know what? I'll start to walk over. I start to walk over. This man walks away from me. Leaves his friends and then walks away.
Yeah, saw you coming.
Would have been fun. I was like, oh, cool. Like, he doesn't want to talk, no problem. Then I went back to my girls and we had the best night ever. That would have been fun if that was the end of the story. I wake up the next morning at 5 a.m. I think I woke up a little bit 5 a.m. But I obviously have to go through my message requests because I'm an influencer. I need to keep on top of brand things.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an influencer. I feel like that's such a cop-out term. Influence. Who do you influence? Whose behavior do you influence, persuade? How do you motivate someone or inspire them to do something? Isn't that, I suppose, the bare-bone definition of influence, to have an impact on a person's behavior? Not with what you're preaching right now, but anyway, do continue.
Yeah, sure.
I see this man. We have a mutual together. This man is in my DM saying, oh my god, you're so beautiful. I wish I had approached you last night.
Yeah, that's pretty soy, Jack. If he's actually saying that I wished I approached you and I saw you last night, you were so beautiful, like, you done fucked up, and you fucked up even more by having sent a message like that.
What? I was on my way to approach you. You walked away.
He didn't even notice. And the thing is, too,
if he didn't notice, he didn't notice. Fair income. But if he did notice... No, he did notice. G-Man, hold on. He did notice. He noticed because he just said that there was a message where I was looking at you and I thought you're really beautiful and I wished I approached you. So he did notice. So if what she's saying is indeed all truth, like I said, he done fucked up. I ain't taking his side. I'm actually on hers.
especially in Melbourne, Australia, and for guys who are local here, especially now, like I'm out of it. I don't do it anymore. But I could imagine now it'd be a very hostile thing to do. You're taking a very big risk by approaching a woman.
Hold on a minute, G-Man. Are you saying what I think you're saying? Risk? What kind of risk? Like the whole sexual harassment, being a pervert kind of risk? No, you're not. Not at a bar, not at a club. Like I said, I worked at them for numerous years. From the city to St Kilda, from bars, pubs, clubs, Irish bars with all the ratchet and clanks, to the suburban, more tame and quiet house music playing environments. And unless things have radically changed in the last 3 or so years, which is how long I've pretty much been out of the gig for, you're not risking anything, especially to your freedom or copping some kind of a charge by approaching a woman and talking to her. I'm not saying grab her by the... but just by talking, you can do no wrong with just using your voice, your presence. If she's going to be intimidated or scared or put off, that's another story in itself. But then even if she, say, walked up to me as a security guard, head of security, and she starts going off to me, oh, that guy, he intimidated me, he's scary, I don't like the way he keeps looking at me, I just shrug my shoulders and be like, yeah, what of it? It is a private venue, but this is still a public gathering. And he's done no harm, no foul, he's done no wrong. So just because you don't like it, I don't have any sort of grounds to interfere with his night to kick him out. If you're just saying that his body language and his mere presence is putting you off, making you feel uncomfortable, but he's not flat out harassing you, there's nothing I'm going to do about it. Sorry, love. This is the kind of place you're at. Just avoid him. Now, if he's actually harassing you, if he's actually continuously walking up to you, pestering you, that's a different story. That's where I can approach him and not per se kick him out, but have words. Maybe assess his intoxication levels. But getting back to you're risking something, you're not risking anything, okay? The only thing that you might be risking is embarrassment if you start stuttering or have this closed off, shy and awkward body language. But if you shoot your shot being confident, chest out, hey, and even to aid you, walk up to her, and if she's in a group, initiate a conversation. Don't start with some retarded pickup line, okay? That sort of stuff doesn't even work. Because, like I also said, if she's interested, she's going to be interested in you. And you don't have to come up with some quippy pickup line to attract her to you. So after you initiate a conversation, maybe ask, hey, do you mind stepping away? We just go here. And like point to the location. We just go here. Just so I can talk to you, one-on-one. Because I'm really interested in you. I find you attractive. It's not an overly sophisticated pickup line I had to ask ChatGPT about. It'd just be on the spot. Let it flow. But you're not risking anything. God damn, G-man. Surely that's not what you're saying here.
And trying to hook up with them or whatever, trying to stoke some sort of conversation, because the law here doesn't look very kindly or fondly on that sort of behaviour if it's not wanted. So guys can't shoot their shot.
They can shoot their shot. You're not harassing someone by shooting. You could walk up to a girl at a club and outright say, you look like a slut. That's a damn outright rude thing to say. And if the girl walked up to me and be like, that guy just called me a effing slut, I'm not even going to kick him out for that, because first of all, I don't know if he actually said that for a fact. And if he said that, come on. What kind of a society are we living at? We're going to start persecuting people for words? Hey, get used to it. The world is mean. You could leave a comment in this video telling me that you don't like me, you don't like something about the way I say things or the way I look. It is what it is. You have the freedom to do that, and people have the freedom to express themselves in the ways that they do. Like I said, if it's harassment, that's one thing, but someone just saying something to you, G-man, you can't get in trouble. There's not going to be anything to do with the law. And even if the girl comes up to you, and I've had this happen, a female will come up to me and tell me that she's been groped. Now, quite frankly, the best I can do by her is then go get the other person's side of the story. Potentially ask one of the floormen, one of the other guards, to keep an eye on the guy, to give him undivided attention and see if he might perhaps be doing something similar to now another girl that he's moved on to. see if they can catch him out in the act, actually see it, clock the time, clock the location, so then we can look at the footage. And now if that's the case, and then that person wants to get the police involved, by all means, it's their right. It's their prerogative to be able to do that. But I have got experience in this. When police come down, if there's no footage and if there's only word of mouth, he grabbed my ass. He grabbed me by the whatever. And we can't show police anything. I tell them that we've reviewed the footage. We've taken a statement, taken an impact statement. We've taken the statement of the other guy. Plus, we can't just keep the guy in the club until police arrive. We can't arrest him, okay? It's like Crimes Act 1958. I'm not going to get into legal legislation per se now, but we can't just detain someone because we've got a word of mouth that he's potentially groped someone. So, guys, I can wholeheartedly tell you that you are not going to get in trouble for shooting your shot verbally, all right, to a woman. Physically, you can. Best believe it. Physically, you can, and you will go down if you're caught in the act. But verbally, no chance. Don't stress.
Shot anymore without worrying about the repercussions of that. So that's why guys don't do it, and he's gone and used the Instagram. That's a safe way of doing it, because if you reject him on the Instagram, well, you know, nothing really lost there. They don't get it, these chicks.
I'm sorry, but, like, can I get an explanation? Like, is that fair? Like, I am so done with dating, because if this is the stuff that I have to deal with when I'm trying to approach you, I didn't even open his message. I'm not going to open it. I'm just flabbergasted that this is a whole thing.
He did miss his chance.
This is why I'm single.
And I'm on her side.
This is why I find it so hard to date.
I don't think it is.
So, for all the girls that have found someone,
G-Man.
I'm so jealous of you.
You're like a young girl, you're like 20 years old, trying to find someone. It's not going to last anyway. Don't make out like you're after anything serious. But you've probably got an overbearing, strong personality that the guys just aren't interested in. I'm an influencer and I've got brand deals and blah, blah, blah. You probably make $50 a year. All right, here we go. Here's another girl talking some rubbish bullshit dating story. So, guys, this is another thing too that I'd like to talk about. Is they have no shame in coming online and making fun of you. So this is why a lot of guys are trying not that hard in dating anymore. Like a guy like this guy in this story, I watched this one, he actually made an effort and she's making fun of him the whole time.
Let's hear it.
So let's get into it.
Now that I've had time to think about it, I'm ready to...
Clearly haven't thought about it long enough. You can't even string two sentences together.
I'm ready to talk about it. Okay, so lately I'm like, why don't I just go on dates, right? Because I owe loyalty to nobody. So I'm going to start saying yes to these dates. The year's about to end. You know, whatever.
Coming off very egotistical right from the get-go. And still can't get her shit together. So I'm already gathering before she even opens her mouth about this guy that she thinks she's better than him. And I've got a hunch that she thinks she's better than most men that approach her.
I don't want to talk about it. Okay. So this one person, I'm going to say he's African. And I want you guys to guess where from Africa he is because it's going to be so easy to guess. But anyway, he was like, I want to take you out. I want to take you out. I want to take you out. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. Let's go. When? He's like, no, you tell me what day, I will make it work. So I was like, cool, I'm free on this day. He's like, great, 6 o'clock, this restaurant, meet me there. And I was like, great. And then suddenly he's like, wait, actually, let me pick you up. And I was like, I don't know you like that, so you're not going to pick me up.
If you don't know a girl like that, so I'm going to assume that this would be their first proper one-on-one meeting, dating. You can offer to pick a girl up, but I don't think you should go to a restaurant. A restaurant is for a more established relationship, for a couple. I don't recommend movies or restaurants as a first date. Just go to someplace public. Go for a walk along the beach. Maybe approach a food truck, sit down, grab a bite to eat, especially if the weather's nice. Restaurant, depending on the restaurant too, you don't particularly want a formal setting. Now, there's something you can still take out of a formal setting, i.e., how much effort does she make into getting ready, into preparing? That can say a lot about someone, man and women. Like the way you present yourself, with how much care, time, and attention to detail you put into your outfit. It all matters. It all matters at the end of the day. But anyway, do go on.
He's like, great, well, I'll send you money to get an Uber. I was like, okay, nice.
Wasting your money, dude. He's leading with the cash. But let's just see how well it went for him.
So far, he's only ordered the Uber. I wouldn't say that's flaunting or leaning in with cash, but we'll see. We'll see what he's doing.
My African Australian bro, they're copping shit now. You know, can't win all sides of the fence. This is your western suburbs chick. You know, this is a mountain chick.
Nice. So I get to the restaurant. I meet him. I walk in. I walk in. This man, he looks like he robbed the Gucci store. There's a Gucci hat, Gucci bum bag, Gucci monogrammed t-shirt, Gucci
Legend.
shorts, and Gucci Crocs.
Oh. Just because it's Gucci, Supreme, LV, D&G, YSL, it doesn't mean the outfit can't look out of place and look shit. House. Crocs. They could be titanium forged with diamond bezels and be worth more than every single car in the parking lot combined. You look like a fucking fool with Crocs.
He never gave me like a dress code, but based on the restaurant that we're going to, I'm thinking it's high-end white people, a lot of like rich white people.
Why do you have to bring that into it? Rich white people restaurant. Anyway, yeah, I was about to say, you'd look up the place and you'd get a pretty good idea of what kind of dress code you're looking at. And I think it's fair and it's right to make an assumption that, okay, this does look higher end. For example, for those of you who are Australian, Crown Casino, you have your really nice Michelin star restaurants at Crown Casino. You'd want to put your best foot forward. You wouldn't just want to rock up with like I said, Supreme Louis Vuitton hoodie to a Michelin star restaurant. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's designer. It doesn't matter if your hoodie was worth $10,000. It's not the time or place.
It's one of those like trending spots, so I dress accordingly. And 10
That's
minutes
fair.
before I got there, he was like, "Don't dress too fancy, yeah." Too fucking late, brother. Anyway, he looked.
You, as a guy, should never put a woman down for putting in effort. Just don't do it, ever. If you can genuinely tell that she's made an effort, don't put a woman down for making an effort. Just like you shouldn't compliment her when she doesn't put in any effort.
Looks like
Oh my god, this chick is just obnoxious as you can get. She's not doing herself any favours by posting these two. She's got 236,000 likes and people are making fun of the dude in her comments. Great.
Gucci store mannequin, and I needed to have 3 drinks to look him in the eyes without laughing. And at one point, I just told the bartender, I'm like, keep him coming because I can't do this sober.
Sure, you paid
I
for
didn't
it.
order a main. Like, I didn't order like a proper meal because I was like, I don't want to sit here any longer and wait for that meal to come. When I tell you this man was so boring, he asked me the same question 3 times. But here's the kicker. Here's where I was like, yeah, you're never seeing me again. He asked me what type of music I like because we were talking about the French music that's playing in the restaurant. And I was like, I like a bit of everything. Like, I'm really just whatever.
You say he's boring, and yeah, while it does sound like he's overcompensating for something, you don't need to be dressed, as she puts it, a Gucci mannequin. He asks you a question about what kind of music you're into, and you give that generic response of, I'm into kind of, whatever, everything. You're not exactly giving the conversation any room to breathe, anywhere to progress and evolve. You just kind of gave a closed off response. Oh, yeah, a bit of everything. You're not specifying any sort of genre, a particular type of artist, a particular song, maybe. That allows for a conversation to develop as opposed to a meh kind of answer. Yeah, a bit of this, a bit of that. Where do you go from there? So she's criticizing his substance and his ability to, suppose, express character, but there doesn't seem to be too much in between the ears with her as well.
What about you? He looks me dead in the eyes and he says, "Oh, my favorite rapper is Tory Lanez and Blueface." I don't know how I keep picking these weird men. I don't know why they keep gravitating towards me, but he looks me in the eyes. He's like, "I like Blueface's flow." Blueface is known for not having a fucking flow. I was like, even with all these court cases and domestic issues, and he's like, "No, it's fake news." I was like, cool.
If that's the extent of your conversations, where the closest thing you have between each other when it comes to having a conversation is embarking on an argument about why you like a particular artist or why you dislike a particular artist, it doesn't sound like there's too much going on there. Now, I'm just going to interject as well that you don't necessarily have to have things in common, okay? I don't think a good relationship is necessarily established by having things in common with your partner, okay? Like people will go into dates, women especially tend to do this more than men, where they'll think, "Oh, I've got so much in common with this guy. We like this. We like doing that." I don't think that's that important, okay? You can like your individual things. I can like gaming. I can like tennis. I can like hiking. I can like going to the gym, lifting weights, reading, and my particular style of music and hers can be totally opposite, and we don't have to like the same thing. But what will ultimately be important is to respect each other's opinions, respect each other's preferences, likes and dislikes, not necessarily take them on board and use that as pretext to go, "Oh, well, we like the same thing, so this is bound to work out," okay? Not necessarily. And it's not me also saying that opposites necessarily attract. It is important to be able to share some things. For example, you both like going to the gym, so you both pursue a healthy kind of lifestyle. You both like eating organic, etc. Some things, I'm not saying that they're be all end all do or die importance, but it also helps. It's also good to have things in common, but it's not a deal breaker if you share different viewpoints and like different things. And you might also find yourself liking something that you didn't even know you would have liked. So say your potential partner, someone that you're on a date with, they like something that you haven't really given too much thought about. Perhaps you inquire further, you look into it yourself in your own time, you go, "Okay, I actually don't mind that." So just like a simple example, I never really ate organic. I'd just go on a whim, eat whatever. Not necessarily junk food, but I would try and target healthy meals, but not particularly organic. Now, with my ex, she'd eat organic. She'd eat a lot of meat, healthy foods, good fatty acids, all that sort of jazz. And she got me into it. I started doing my own research into it, and I thought, okay, well, that's not really what I've been all about, but now I can take this on board. I can implement this in my own life. That's all I'm saying. So having things in common is good, but it's not essential.
Let's wrap it up. So yes, I would love for you to guess what type of African he is. I mean, he paid for the whole bill and everything, but I was out.
Yeah. Before you say anything, G-Man, I just want to also finish off with saying your money, right, is of least importance. So down the road, when you get together, when you're thinking about long-term marriage, kids, relationship, of course, assets have to come into it. But first impressions, dating, if you're leading with your money, if you're leading with your Gucci Crocs, bum bags, shirts, wallets, and there's a bunch of $100 bills in it, that isn't necessarily going to get you anything long-term. And it might be a good little test to see where the girl's at too. She might be licking her lips and thinking, "All right, I can get on the Gold Digger Express." But if a woman's into you, this comes back to what I was pretty much saying at the start. If a woman's into you, she'll straight up be into you. There'll be social cues, and she's not going to be into you long term for your Gucci hat, belt, shoes, Crocs, what have you.
Exactly. So this is why guys aren't doing it. So my African buddy over there, he's going to have this experience. Do you think he's going to go and do that again? Some guys never learn. He might go and do it again. But he's probably, he dropped the Uber, he dropped dinner, he's done all that stuff, he's made an effort. Yeah, cool, maybe he looked like, he's trying to dress like Lil Wayne or something like that with all the Gucci stuff. But she's just complained about every little thing he did. She didn't like him for his music, he was boring, wasn't asking her the right questions, she didn't like the way he dressed. Why are you there then? This is why guys get fed up with it. I could go on and on about this one.
We don't know the ins and outs of their conversation. We've just got a mild context of there was nothing to talk about until he mentioned a particular artist, and then they had a mild disagreement about said artist. But it sounds like it would have been like trying to pour water out of sand of the Sahara Desert. Just wasn't going anywhere.
But look at the smug, smiling little face, you know. Give her 10 years, she'll blow out. You can tell she's already got the massive cans. You can see them in that shirt there. They'll be sagging down to her knees soon. So she won't be. She probably will still be complaining and saying the same stuff in another 10 years. All right, guys, halfway through. So if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel.
We're only halfway.
Aiming for 8,000 subs. The best way you can help me, guys, is watch my videos through to the end. That's much appreciated. And if you do want to chip in and check out my Patreon, the link is in the video description and the pinned comment. Thanks a lot.
People in Melbourne, the dating scene, fucked, right? Like completely fucked. It's not just me. I'm seeing it all over my For You page. I'm seeing it and hearing it everywhere. What is happening? Like, does dates and dating even exist anymore? I'm out here all year. I've been trying to go out and get a date. I just didn't realise it'd be this much of a struggle.
Jay-Z must be that unbearable, or I don't know. It's not that hard, even though she looks. I don't know what the style and stuff she's got going on there, guys. But she's like an average-looking girl, right? Run-of-the-mill girl. There is no way she would not be able to get a date.
Like I said with the Tinder thing, there is no way. She tried hard enough, and if that was her intention, she can get anything between a one-night stand to someone having to come to her to actually going on an arranged date, all within 12 hours if she went for it. Very, very doable.
So who knows if she's chasing alternative Brycey? She's a bit of an alternative chick, you know.
Yeah, of course, if her preferences are set to a certain type of man, he has to be 6'3" and above, of a certain type of descent. He's got to be Buddhist, smokes weed. If you've got all your advanced options set to a particular type, and you live in bumfuck Idaho and the stick's out in the middle of nowhere and your closest person is about 3 kilometers that way, perhaps it can be challenging to go on a date. But if you've got pretty broadened horizons, and like I said, you make your intentions clear, it's so much easier for women. Don't even start that it's difficult. I think some of them actually don't want to or don't know how to pursue a man.
Should be inner city, should be like a, what do you call it, Fitzroy, Collingwood type, Northcote. Riding around a little bike with the basket on the front, you know, full greenie. So maybe she's looking for greenie Chad. I don't know if there is such a thing exists, but I can't understand how, you know, this is a thing.
I didn't realise that effort no longer exists. Oh my gosh, like, what is happening? A guy's just uninterested now, they just don't care, they can't be bothered, like, what is it? Because, like, no, obviously I'm on the apps and stuff. No guys message me first, not yet at least. So I'll message first, I'll make the conversation. I'm keeping it flowing, just getting 1-word responses or 2-word responses. And even then, when I try and organise a date, God forbid, they come up with the details. No.
You have to be interesting as a woman too. you can't just be a woman and expect, well, everything's going to come to me. The courting, the catering for, the attention, that the man is just going to go on a limb and escort and proceed with every single introduction and pickup line and just stimulate all of your senses. Okay, yeah, you have to give something back in return too. You have to have some substance about you as well. So if you've pretty much made no effort in your looks, especially on your dating profile, because believe it or not, well, you probably do believe it, that's the first thing that men are going to be looking at is your first picture and then the rest of them. So are they attracted to you? So if you didn't particularly make an effort, or if you're just unattractive in your pictures, if you're a harsh reality, a 4, a 3 out of 10, you still got heaps of potential, okay? A 3 out of 10 female has the same potential as an 8 out of 10 man. No shit. Now, why they might not be messaging you first, I can't quite speak on the behalf of every single Zoomer out there in Melbourne, but maybe you've given no cues in your profile. Maybe there's nothing for them to initiate a particular conversation starter, which is why I think that there's a degree of care and attention to detail you also have to put in your profiles. So there's some kind of a cue that you can rattle off. And I understand that icebreakers and those initiations, those initial few sentences, messages exchanged in a conversation can be difficult. But if there's nothing to go off and you're not particularly attractive, now you have to have a no bullshit assessment of yourself and really evaluate, am I as attractive as I can possibly be in my photos? Or am I just like, no fucks given, I owe, as the other chick said, no loyalty to no man, I don't give a damn, I'm just going to look however, out of bed kind of thing. Well, if that's the prerogative you're going to take, don't expect for effort to be reciprocated and directed at you.
No.
Welcome to the world of a man. This is what most guys put up with. But she must be chasing lefty chads, as I'll call them. I don't know what even their names would be. Morris or something, I don't know. With his little green sweater, but he's still jacked with his dreadlocks.
Haven't seen one of those.
But then even then, they don't follow through. So like what? What's a girl got to do to get a date? Just one. Just a date. What is happening?
Just talk to a guy.
I'm just like gobsmacked. Dating scene is just not great right now. So good luck to all my...
Have something interesting to say. Now, I'll use myself as an example of my most recent long-term relationship. Now, backing up to the very start of that, the girl in question who I was in a relationship with, she would have something to say to me. She would message me things. She'd initiate conversations. She would sustain conversations, show interest in my side of things, what I would say to her. And even if she wasn't interested, she faked very well that she was interested. But that showed me that she cared, and that allowed for the conversation to advance, to progress. She wasn't closed off. If I said something, she would reciprocate. She wouldn't just shut it down. So you have to have communication skills about you as well as a female. Okay, a guy, while you may think it's his onus, his entire responsibility to lead a conversation and to drag you through it, you also have to be able to reciprocate with something as well.
Singles out there, including myself, I see you, I hear you, and I don't know what the fuck's going on, but here we are. People in Melbourne, the dating.
No idea, these young chicks, no idea. All right, so this is another episode of World's Shittest Podcast, but I thought it was funny the way that these women cackle and laugh about guys who have made some sort of an effort on a date. You got these chicks who are like 2 or 3 out of 10s at the best day with makeups on, laughing and cackling about a guy's failing on a date, being stingy. Classic.
basically this like Northside DJ who is like the most hipster like DJ you've ever met asked me to go to pizza somewhere out in Melbourne, just talking about how he's going to make it as a DJ and how like, you know, he's really popping off at all the local spots around Melbourne. I was like, yeah, that's great for him. Like, it was really.
You'll see what I'm getting at. I'll try and pause it on the right moment.
Really entertaining. He suggested let's go back to his and.
Missed it again.
Suggested.
Dude, she's got them 28 days later eyes. Like a bridge of the nose down. That's the kind of eyes you'd see in an R18 horror flick. I feel like they'd glow in the dark. They're so light and the pupils are just dialed in like she's on 3 times Zoom.
Like we should get a scooter together. So I was like, yeah, sure. There's like, you know, a couple bucks. So I was like, may as well do that. Anyway, we jump on the scooter, head back to his, and kind of, you know, got into it. He, you know, showing me a few things on the deck, like showed me the roof.
Legend.
Like, you've never heard this
Good track.
You know, we get into bed, get entangled, you know, a couple seconds in, it's all over, the condom is broken, an absolute disaster. But, you know, it was fine. I pretty much laid there for about, you know, maybe 20 minutes. He was started snoring, so I crawled out.
Somehow this is the guy's fault. You got into bed with him. You wanted it to happen. Also, it makes it okay if you orgasmed at the end of it, rather than it having been 20 seconds. That makes it okay. Promiscuity is now justified by the amount of pleasure that we receive from it.
Out of his house, and the next day I was like, I have to go get this taken care of. So I went and got, you know, Plan B, the morning after pill. And shortly after I received a text from him saying, can you please split the, you know, the $4 lime
Legend
that we had taken together back from the restaurant. And
if he said please, nothing wrong with that really. It's a bit comical. I gotta admit it is a bit comical, but he said please. And like I said, you chose to end up in bed with him. Now let's see what her problem's going to be.
I just told him, no way. Like, I had just forked out like $38 for Plan B, so I was just like, hell no. And he sent back a...
That's so ratchet. Mark my words now. And if you ever catch me saying them, they're going to be the exact same. If she has 5 or more bodies, there is no reform. Seek out better.
Skull emoji, and we've never talked ever since.
Oh
Great day.
No. This day.
So he got out $4. What a legend. But this is very similar, especially like that story I put up recently. Guys, check out my videos about the guy, the $6 coffee. He wanted a refund for a $6 coffee that he bought a girl on a date that didn't go anywhere. It's hilarious. So more and more guys are doing shit like this. Drizzle. All right, lucky last, guys. Bit of delusion here. I'll play this one right through. But this one is just standard chick who doesn't have much experience in life, watches a lot of movies, watches Disney Channel, watches a lot of shows about how romance is supposed to happen and what happens in the actual real world, makes her mind blow up.
Hey, can I be a little bit vulnerable with you guys for like 2 seconds? Can you promise me to not
rubbing all this shit?
Your perception of me though. It's not to sound like totally pathetic or anything, but is it over? Like is romance like finished?
Yeah.
Like quick banter and going on hiking trips and adventures. You earn that. You must earn that, my man. Do you even know what love is? Do you even know what romance is?
Do you?
I will.
If it weren't for the subtitles, I'd have no clue. But even with, this one's a hard one to keep up with. What's the issue exactly? You have to earn it. A date with her.
Love you as misfortune loves orphans, as fire loves innocence, and as justice loves to sit and watch while everything goes.
Jeez, what's with the riddles? Fire loves innocence.
Wrong. Do you know what that means?
Doesn't
Awkward
exist.
smiles from across the room, the stolen glances, the soft brush of the hands.
we're writing poetry.
The longing stares,
emotion.
where is all of that? Do you even know what it is like to look at someone from across the room and just have your entire being heave a big sigh of relief? Let's grab drinks and see where it goes. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? This is the future of love and romance. Trust me, I'm going to do you all a massive favor. I'm going to line all the romantic people against the wall. And then I'm going to shoot them one by one.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to shoot myself. Do you even know what it is to have feelings for one person and one person alone? I don't think you do. I've been on a dating app for 2 weeks and I already want to burn someone alive. There's plenty of fish on the scene, but you will get 3. You will get 3 maximum, out of which 2 will not like you.
Okay. G-Man is probably going to close out in the next 15 seconds, so I'm going to close out here. Again, G-Man, if you watched any of my video, let alone all of it, me having this, you could say, closed discussion with you, or giving my input, and you liked it, let me know. I'd love to do some kind of a collaboration thing. But otherwise, I don't really have a particular take on this girl. She sounds like a true romantic at heart, getting a bit poetic on us, and maybe she's read quite a few Twilight Sagas and 50 Shades of Greys, Browns and Blacks, but I'm going to call it time for me. I don't particularly have any sort of input, but perhaps she would be best served looking for a man in the library.
You'll get 3. Welcome to the world of men. Welcome to what men deal with on the dating apps. This is the standard for any average kind of guy out there. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this far. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't subbed, please do so, and I'll see you in the next one.
Shoot your best shot, gentlemen. Be your authentic self, and don't expect everyone to love you or like you for it. But maybe, just maybe, the suitable partner will come along. Peace. Thanks for watching.